Welcome to Sports, Wheels, and Reels with Jeff Miller and Austin Horton. One show, two guys, three topics, unlimited possibilities. Presented by Mark Miller Subaru. Engage with us on social media or email us at podcast@mmsubaru.com. And now, welcome your hosts, Jeff Miller and Austin Horton.
Episode 49.
49. Who's number 49?
There's got to be a pitcher over history who is number 49.
I don't know any 49s.
He's Jeff. I'm Austin. I'm turning 39. Oh, wait, no, that's next year. I'm turning 39. Never mind.
I'm not 49.
No, you're not 49. You're not 39 either.
No, that's also true.
Although I bet if we went out on the street and said, who do you think is older, and put our pictures up, they'd say me.
They would definitely say you.
Oh, thank you. All right. We're talking sports, wheels, and reels coming up. The Jazz and will they or won't they? The NBA Finals, what's the truth? And baseball drama in Vegas that might affect, or at least circle in Salt Lake in the conversation. Jeff Walters, the new CEO of Subaru, is talked to Autocar as an auto driver. I can't remember who he talked. AutoNews.com. And so we'll share some of the things he said with you. And then two movie thoughts for you this week, at least. Coming up next on Sports, Wheels, and Reels.
I'm Spencer Kofed, and my Subaru is Extreme Adventure. Outback's really great for my lifestyle. It has just enough space for all my gear, but it's not crazy big of a footprint. If any of my friends were looking to buy a Subaru, I'd recommend Mark Miller Subaru, so you never feel like they're hiding stuff from you. Whether it's skiing, skydiving, mountain bikes, surfing, my Subaru gets me out on my adventures. Subaru is a brand I trust, and Mark Miller Subaru is the Utah retailer that I love.
Jeff, let's talk about the NBA Finals to begin.
Denver looks good.
Okay. Game 1 and 2, Denver looked really good. Or day 1 and 3, I should say. Game 2, they looked pretty good.
Well, game 2, they just kind of took it off. They're just like, we're better than this team. Like, we can just coast a little bit.
Do you agree with the sudden...
they're a much better team. You can admit that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Denver's a much better team than Miami.
Is Jokic the best player on earth?
Right now? I mean, the way he's playing these finals, you could argue him into some of the best of all time arguments of like top 10, top 20 ever.
He had the first 30-20-10 in the finals game. Yeah.
And the greatest part about Jokic is he doesn't care.
He doesn't care
Does not care in the least bit.
Yep. Is it, as a Jazz fan, you want Denver to win this series, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Even though you don't want Denver to win it. You'd want Denver to win.
I want Denver to win.
Yeah. Now, I am a Jazz fan, but I'm also more of a Jazz rival hater.
And Denver's the rival.
I can't stand them winning an NBA.
I'm a lot happier than Denver winning it than the Lakers.
Yeah, that's true. Although, there's something to be said about if LeBron got one more title.
I just like the idea of Denver winning. It gives Jazz fans hope.
It does. Well, the worst part
of a smaller market like us could possibly do it. Although Denver's not that small of a market, but they're similar.
They're similar. And the worst part of that is what I'm talking about, Jeff, is the Jazz could have been where Denver currently is. This could have been the Jazz in the finals.
We just didn't argue with each other.
Yes.
We just didn't argue with each other.
If
Donovan and Rudy could just have gotten along. If the Jazz had Will Hardy instead of Quinn Snyder, would he have been able to hold them together?
If they had Mike Malone, yeah.
So if they had Mike Malone instead of either of those, the Jazz are in the same position they're at.
No.
So 3 years old, three-year-old Jazz.
No.
3 years ago Jazz.
On paper, yes. But the answer is no, because Donovan Mitchell has an ego that Jamal Murray has put aside.
But could a coach have changed that?
Maybe. Maybe.
That's the question mark, right? Because that's really in the NBA, a coach's job is to babysit.
A coach could have tried harder than the coach did.
Quinn didn't care.
Yeah. Or gave up caring.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, that's what pains me, is this should have been... Remember the Jazz against
Jazz on
the Nuggets?
paper are a more talented team than the Nuggets are.
When they lost that 3-1 series to Denver in the bubble.
Yeah.
That started the whole thing.
Yep.
And this could have been the Jazz. Anyway. I'd rather see Jimmy Butler win it.
I like Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Jordan's son.
What is the truth, though? Games 1 and 3 or game 2?
Games 1 and 3.
Nah, that sucks. just because those games were kind of boring.
I would not be surprised for the Nuggets to win games 4 and 5 and end this thing.
This is a 5-game series.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I thought going into it.
5 was what I said going in, if you remember. I said 5, Denver and 5.
I didn't think there'd be a sweep. That's rare in the finals. But so game 4 tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah, in Miami. So we'll see how that goes. If Denver wins that one, it's over. Forget about it.
Yeah, they come home. They're not losing that game.
Yeah. All right, the Jazz, they are slated to pick at number 9 to begin in the NBA draft later this month. In 2 weeks.
The game is tonight, actually.
Well, it's tonight.
Tonight, 6:30 ABC.
Why did I think they played last night?
What do you think the spread is?
They played Wednesday.
In Miami.
3.5 Denver.
Very good.
Is it?
You nailed it.
Wow.
Look at that. Well done.
I'm learning.
Should send you to Vegas.
I'm learning. No, don't do that.
Not to gamble, to like work.
Oh.
In a bookie.
Send me to Vegas Dennis Rodman style with
Put you on the good side of the gambling. The side that wins the house.
Yeah. All right.
Draft time. What, 2 weeks
speaking of betting.
Is it 2 weeks to draft?
It is 2 weeks yesterday.
2 weeks yesterday.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the final
3
Thursday in
picks,
June.
9, 16, 28.
Which of those do they pick? If you're betting your house on it.
If I'm betting, I'm not sure which, but I don't think they have more than 2 first-round picks that hit the roster. I think they either trade it out, trade it for a future pick, trade them together to make a big pick. Like, I think there's something that's happening. I can't imagine Jazz coming into camp with 3 guaranteed rookies on the contract. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
It makes no sense with their current roster.
There's some awesome players in this draft.
So
there's a lot that could happen. It's crazy. I mean, there's a lot that can happen with big name players. I mean,
yeah.
Damian Lillard wants out.
Luka Doncic, this whole Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, you never know. There could be
thing.
some crazy super trades, especially with the
Chris Paul and the Suns.
With these 75 first-round draft picks the Jazz have.
I think the Jazz are trading 9 and 16 to be in the top 5.
To get who?
You name them. You name them. They're better than 6 through 10.
Scoot or Almond?
Scoot or Almond or Cam Whitmore.
Yeah, I like Cam.
I would love Cam Whitmore. But that would appease my why didn't they take harder heart if they somehow traded into the top 5.
Who are the untouchables? Are there untouchables?
Larry Markkinen. End of conversation.
That's it. Kessler?
No, he's not untouchable. God bless him.
If you get the right person back. If you get Dame back.
He's still a giant center in an NBA that hasn't yet gone that way except for the guy in Denver. Is Kessler Jokic? No, he's not.
No. If you could get Dame back, you get rid of him all day.
Yes.
Do you give up Markkinen to get Dame?
No.
You're right. That's the correct answer.
Dame's on the wrong side of 30 for that.
Well, the nice thing about Dame is he's still got probably 2-3 years left, which fits into the Jazz timeline. But I don't think Dame wants to be on a team that's rebuilding while he's there. Although Dame and Markkinen, that's probably a playoff team.
It would be great. Let me ask you this. If you're LeBron James, put your personal relationships aside. Would you rather have Chris Paul or Dame Lillard?
Dame.
I think so, too.
But the problem is they can't get Dame.
Well, they can do anything they want to do.
Because the Lakers are over the cap. They need to trade $40 million in salaries.
They would do it.
They don't have $40 million in salaries.
And then
unless
they
get Austin Reeves to sign and trade.
Right.
It'd have to be an Austin Reeves sign and trade and a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Opt in Beasley, but Portland's not taking Beasley and Austin Reeves
for Damian Lillard. That's fair. Yeah.
But the Jazz could arguably trade him into a trade exception because they have the cap room.
Yep.
And just give him a boatload of picks.
The Jazz have all the options.
Yeah, Danny Ainge just rebuilt his cupboard quite nicely.
Now it's a matter of eating the right food in the right order.
How many phone calls a day do you think Danny Ainge is getting right now?
I wouldn't want to be him.
The secretary.
Yeah.
They have to be getting 1,000 phone calls a day.
It's got to be nonstop.
It's got to be, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this?
It's got to, it'd be hell. I don't
this
like.
This cannot be a fun month for Danny Ainge.
Or Justin
Zanuck or any of those guys. And they lost Fitzdale.
They lost Fizdale, which he's good.
What do you think of the new G League coach hire?
Amazing.
Wojciechowski.
I'm excited about Wojciechowski.
So I went to.
I was going to ask, don't you know Wojciechowski?
I met him once. I went to high school with his wife.
Yeah.
And his wife was in my sister's grade in high school. her brother was a really good friend of mine in high school.
What was her name? Lindsay?
Lindsay Alder, yeah. And they live in Park City, and I mean, when he got fired by Marquette, they moved back here. There was a good article in Tribune
they
talking
moved here
about
before he got fired, actually.
There's an article in Tribune talking about how like his coaching for the last 2 years has been 7th and 8th grade up in Park City.
I read that article.
He's been coaching kids teams for the last
it made me love
year
it.
and a half.
It made me really.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's just been hanging around Jazz practice, and I guess you hang around long enough, they're like, hey, maybe he works here. We should actually make it official.
That'd be great. I think we ought to sell him some Subarus.
Well, what they did is they moved him because they moved the existing G League coach to the bench. The guy who was the Stars coach got moved up to the bench,
the Jazz bench
when Jensen and all them left, and that opened up the G League spot for Woj.
Are you surprised Alex Jensen hasn't found a job?
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. I thought he was going to go straight to Atlanta and be an assistant for Quinn, but
and you saw Igor land in Atlanta instead.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. I mean, it was kind of the writing on the wall that Alex wasn't staying. I mean, when you get passed over for head coach twice like that, at that point, it's like, okay, the writing's on the wall. I'm probably not ever going to be a head coach here. I should probably move on. I
heard a rumor that he was eyeing possibly serving as a mission president.
Okay.
That's just what I heard.
Interesting.
Anyway, so the Jazz, I don't think they're making picks 9, 8, 18, 16.
Do you think what are the odds of them making what you call like a mega trade, for like bringing in a big name?
1 in 3
using picks. I think I would say that there's actually a decent chance of that. I think there might be a better chance of that next year.
Why is that? Oh, better
just because they don't have a pick.
Yeah.
And they have all their picks to mess with. Like, I just think there's a better odd. They'll be farther in their rebuild. It'll be interesting to see, like, if the draft picks. And you talk about you're going to have 2 swings at a draft pick, 3 possibly. If one of those nails, all of a sudden this team's in the playoffs with young talent. You bring in one other player, all of a sudden you're in that top 4 of the West, which is all you really care about. Like, it's the idea, right? I mean, the idea of this is you try and get yourself in the top 4 of each conference. And then you never know what's going to happen. Right?
Look at Miami. They were
Tatum gets injured in the final game, and they're in.
All right, so I think the Jazz are set up way better than I thought they would have been a year ago today.
No, Jazz are in great shape.
And I think fans should be excited and on fire about it.
One other thing before we get past this.
Yeah.
How about Ryan Smith's comments about the new TV contract? They haven't announced it.
The rabbit ears.
Rabbit ears. Anybody who's got rabbit ears will be able to watch Jazz basketball. Like the good old days, like K-Jazz.
Do you believe it?
Yes.
I am not so quick to believe it.
As a human being who just had our review with the Jazz at our TV contract, I would say I probably believe it.
Okay. Then I believe it suddenly. Ryan has said some things in the past that never came to be.
The money they get from the cable broadcasters compared to what they get from the advertisers is nothing. And what they can get from the advertisers if it's going to a bigger market is a lot bigger.
That contract they signed for 65 years at the time seemed like a good idea, but it had no...
The Fox one, yeah.
It had no future thought given to it.
Yeah, but I mean, they need to have a thing where anybody who wants to watch a Jazz game anytime can watch a Jazz game. Yeah. And if you want to stream it, you want to have it on your phone, maybe you have to pay like $50 a year or something like that, or $100 a year.
I'd pay.
I think most people would pay $100 a year to watch every Jazz game.
Easily.
If they could get on their phone, they could get on YouTube, they could get wherever they wanted.
No blackouts?
Yeah.
Easily.
Everyone would pay that.
Yep. Right now.
Or you can just watch locally on your rabbit ears.
I think people would pay $60 a month, like an old cable bill, to watch the Jazz
interesting. Games. But I think you're going to hear an announcement on that. My guess is just post-draft.
Just guessing. All right.
I don't know anything.
Speaking of Ryan Smith and big teams and gambling and all sorts of news, the A's moving to Vegas was really happening. And now Vegas powers that be are pushing back a little.
We were talking about this before.
It gets a little complicated with tax laws and breaks and all sorts of stuff.
It's like fans look at it and say, and government officials look at it and say, oh, we're giving them money. We're giving a billionaire money. And you are, but you're not really. Like, I use the argument for you talking about the Jazz. So the Jazz expanded their stadium. It was, what, $200 million? I forget the exact number. 180. It was a lot of money. $180 million. What they asked the city for and the state for wasn't pay for this remodel. They said, when we put $180 million in the stadium, the value of our property goes up by $180 million. Property tax is based on the value of our building. We just want you for the next 10 years to tax us at the original number, not plus 180.
And then we'll pay for the stadium.
We'll pay for the stadium, we'll pay for that. At the end of the 10 years, you can reassess and we'll pay the full amount. So they want 10 years of tax credit, basically. So what it is it's like, okay, if we didn't redo this, put out $180 million in it, the state's getting the exact same amount of money. They're just not getting the extra because we invested. So the state's losing nothing.
Well, and more importantly, I think to me and our listeners and the general public is they're not paying more either. Like there's no tax.
There's no tax
coming out of your paycheck to build.
It's different when you're talking about Vegas is talking. When Vegas is talking about bonds. So bonds, you're talking about the taxpayers are on the hook. If the stadium can't pay it, it's a taxpayer risk. But that's a different thing. But when they're talking about the baseball stadium in downtown Salt Lake, they're talking about what the Millers did. They're talking about we don't want to pay excess property taxes for that stadium for a certain amount of time. And those excess property taxes, you're talking tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well, a new stadium is going to be $300 million.
Yeah. So you're talking property tax on that stadium over 10 years is probably $100 million.
Yeah.
Right? So you can argue it how you want to argue. I don't think those kind of deals are bad deals.
Well, I still think the A's end up in Vegas because there's just too much money to be made by both Vegas and Oakland. The A's ownership to be in Vegas for it not to work.
They'll end up in Vegas. The owners will cave and they'll pay the.
They'll
lose my guess is they lose the bond part of it, then the property tax thing stays.
Yep, that's what will happen.
That's my guess.
But I think it's interesting as Salt Lake hopes to get a team someday soon to watch that situation go down. All right, coming up next in Wheels, we're going to talk about Jeff Walters' comments regarding inventory from Subaru. Cars on the ground here for you. Next.
My name's Jamie Estry, and my Subaru is Freedom. I've had so many animals over the years. One of the things that I love about Mark Miller Subaru is they're the largest animal welfare supporter in the Salt Lake Valley. You may not even realize it, but they're probably supporting a nonprofit that you love in the community. And my wife and I, our daughter Harper, and our dogs, we're just so happy that we picked Mark Miller Subaru. Subaru is a brand that I trust, and Mark Miller Subaru is the local retailer that I love.
Time for Wheels, Jeffrey. Is your full name Jeffrey?
It is Jeffrey.
Oh,
how do you think you spell it, though? I don't spell like one of those weird Jeffreys.
Joffrey.
No.
King Joffrey.
We don't roll like that.
The first of his name. All right.
R-E-Y, Jeffrey.
R-E-Y?
Yeah, R-E-Y.
Is there another way?
E-R-Y.
Oh, E-R-Y. That's
and
weird.
There's a G version.
I wonder, I've got two uncles that are Jeffreys. I wonder how they spell it. Because they always go by
I think it's the weird way.
Well, it's not with the G. I'll tell you that. Okay. There's no Geoffs in my family. All right, let's talk about another Jeff.
Jeff Walters.
No Geoff there either, as far as I know.
Four Jeffs on the National Utility Board.
It's
so annoying.
If you're a Jeff, we've got a job for you at the top at Subaru.
It's like Josh in our service departments.
Josh G.
All Joshes.
All Josh G's.
Lots of Josh.
And other Joshes. Yeah. All right, Jeff Walters. New
just took over for Tom Dahl. Tom Dahl officially retired on April 1st. He's officially out this summer sometime.
So he is now the CEO of Subaru. He was the VP of sales.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a great guy from what I've always been told by him.
Jeff Walters is a really good guy.
And he did a really interesting, candid, kind of just conversation with Autonews.com this week, or maybe last week. But the comments that stood out the most to me were one about we don't know what the economy is going to end up like at the end of this year.
No.
If it'll be a soft landing, a hard landing, if it will just be the same interest rates where they're going to be, that's a mystery. But what's not a mystery is Subaru's inventories.
They're starting to get inventories on the ground.
With real numbers, like real physical cars on the ground available, shipping to people, including here, us.
It's a 14-day supply nationally right now.
Which it hasn't been, that's what I was going to say. When I started here, it was a negative 15.
You can actually walk in the dealership today, into our store, and leave with a car. It's crazy.
If you want an Outback, you can, or an Ascent, you can pick color. You can be picky.
You haven't had that.
Dream.
It's been years. It
So-
actually literally has been years since you've been able to do that.
It is pretty exciting. It's fun. So I thought it was a great article. If you're a car nerd, you should go read autonews.com. Jeff Walters seems to be a sharp guy, and Subaru's in good hands. I'm excited about also on the ground in our lot right now. You can come see in person the new Alpine Green Crosstrek Sport. It's already paid for. Someone's already bought the car, but it's here. You can come see the color in person. As well as at Southtown, they've got a Sunblaze Pearl Crosstrek Limited.
There you go.
So those two new colors, which I'm not a big orange guy, but that Sunblaze Pearl is a sweet-looking car. It's a sweet, good-looking color. I like it. All right, and then we did some Subaru Loves yesterday. It's Loves to Care Month, and we took some blankets and some Get Well and Cheer 'em On cards.
Gone to the cancer center down at Intermountain Hospital. We're
There
doing
you
another
go.
one next week too.
And it's so. Are we still holding up do we still have a place for people to write notes, or that was
That's
so
on
we
the showroom
still
floors.
when you come into our store, you can write a love note and I call it a love note because it's in the shape of
Yeah.
a heart to a cancer patient.
It'll go with the
leukemia
blanket.
patient.
Yeah, it'll go with the blanket, and they'll get the note and get a nice warm feeling when they get their blanket.
Now I wrote a few notes.
Were they nice?
They were I thought they were very nice. Someone.
Did you use ChatGPT to do it?
No, I did not use ChatGPT. I didn't think to use ChatGPT.
Could have been so much more heartfelt.
Perhaps I should have. Anyway, yeah.
Write me a nice note.
Because I've somewhat fallen into the emoji generation now where.
You wrote emojis.
Yes,
on your
I
cards.
drew emojis. No, I did not. Drew a thumbs up and a 100 underlined. No, I didn't.
You got this. 100 underlined.
That's right. All right. No, I didn't. I wrote some nice notes, and I'll write some more this week. That's my dedication to. I'll be better with the notes I write this week. Maybe I should have told you off air what I wrote to see
See if it was okay. Okay.
They may have been thrown away. We'll see. I was trying to bring smiles to people.
All right, hey, before we skip to movies, breaking news off ESPN.
The Jazz have been sold.
The Nuggets made a trade during the finals.
Huh? That's allowed?
So sources say.
Oh, probably trade.
They traded
picks.
2000. They acquired a 2024 first and second pick and a 2023 second round pick in a deal with Oklahoma City for a protected 2029 first rounder.
Protected to what number?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So basically, Oklahoma's trade got one pick back for 3.
Why?
I don't know.
For this year's draft?
Next year's draft.
Huh.
But like, who makes a trade during the
What are you,
finals?
Denver, you got stuff going on, man.
Yeah, focus.
That's right.
Yeah,
You're
focus
only
on
up
what you
by
got.
one game. You haven't
Focus
won
on what
the
you
thing.
got.
All right, coming up next, Reels. We're talking cartoons
Your favorite.
and Nikes. Tell you about it next.
There you go.
My name is Sierra Hudson. My Subaru is safety for my family. So this past winter, we hit a black ice and we just started to slide. And it was just one of those moments where you truly feel helpless. I know it's a car, but it means so much more to us and our family. Subaru is one of the safest brands, and I've personally lived that. Subaru is a brand you can trust, and Mark Miller Subaru is the local Utah retailer that you will love.
All right, Reels, Jim.
Reels.
What Reels have you watched recently? Did you watch Air?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Air's amazing.
It was so I heard it's
No.
incredible, it's amazing, it's
No,
great.
Air
I went,
was
it can't be that good. It's Ben Affleck.
Extremely well done.
It was
And
really
Ben
good.
Affleck was awesome as Phil Knight.
Except for his wig. It's the dumbest thing I've
That's
ever
what Phil
seen.
Knight looks like.
Which is
Have you seen Phil Knight?
I haven't read Shoe Dog, but the fact he refers to himself as Shoe Dog,
Phil Knight is that dude
He is a
running
douche.
around in the short running shorts.
he's a
Like, he's that dude.
suit, bare feet in the office.
Oh yeah. He's that
repeating
guy.
Taco Bell hot sauce packet sayings as affirmations. Yeah, weird, but
Pretty good though.
Matt
Started a
Damon.
decent company.
Matt Damon was incredible in it.
That Damon was really
Viola Davis should get
Jason
an
Bateman
Oscar.
was good too. Viola
Jason
Davis
Bateman was really good. And
The
Chris
guy-
Tucker.
The guy who played the back of Michael Jordan's head.
Yeah, that guy. Who also
That was one of the best parts of the movie.
His voice on
They
the
never
phone.
showed Jordan's face.
Yeah, well, that's so Jordan can't get any more money.
Yeah. Probably.
Because the money that his mother apparently negotiated
Oh, it's incredible.
to get the per shoe deal had never been done.
And I told you that the estimate for Jordan's the first year that Nike built the contract based around was $3 million in sales. And they did $127 million the first year.
And what about the guy that created the shoe? He was a fun character.
Oh, that guy's amazing.
Yeah,
But it was brilliant. They got 5% of shoe revenues ever.
forever.
Of anything that's Jordan branded forever. And not of profits. 5% of revenue.
Amazing.
That's the most insane deal ever.
And the way they depicted the negotiation phone call was really, really good. I'm telling you, Viola Davis nailed it. She was incredible in this movie.
Oh.
So I saw that, and I haven't yet seen but hear great things about the live action CGI filtered Little Mermaid remake.
I've heard it's really good.
I've heard it's amazing. I have problems with it from the get-go, which I know problems. That's having problems
I'm
with
sure
things.
this is very important.
Daveed Diggs, who you probably saw in Hamilton as Thomas Jefferson on the recorded version, he plays Sebastian. Excuse me, but it's only his voice.
Okay.
I wanted him to actually be like dressed up as a crab.
Oh, dear God. But he'd be too big. You
But
wanted just to be this massive human being as a crab wandering around?
Yes, in like an actual mascot.
Oh, what if they
suit,
like CGI'd
totally
him? They
made.
should have CGI'd him small.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Right, like CGI'd him into a crab costume small.
Yes. He deserves more than just his voice being heard.
He deserves to be embarrassed in a crab costume, is what you're trying to tell me. That's what he deserves.
He would be amazing in a crab costume. Anyway,
Yeah, that's a good one, Dan.
I also don't know about Halle Bailey and as Little Mermaid. I think it's cool that Halle Bailey, Halle Berry, Bailey. It's close to Halle Berry.
Yeah, I don't know.
Haley Bailey or Haley Valley
Okay.
or what? Halle Bailey. Her singing voice is amazing. I don't know how her acting chops are, so I'm excited to see the movie and see how she did.
Okay.
That's it for episode 49.
That's great.
Have a good week.
Have a good week, too.
Whatever you're
We'll be
doing.
back in a couple weeks. We're talking about the draft.
For Ashley and Katie behind over there. I was going to say
You
behind
sound
the
very
cameras,
unsure
but the
about
camera too.
that.
I've only met her 17 times.
I know.
It's gotta
very
be
good. That's a very good attribute of a
Got to be
salesperson.
3 digits for me to remember your name. I have
That's
to-
not important in sales at all.
That lady 1, person 2, employee 3, and soon to be fired man 4. Talk to you next week or whenever. Until then, you tell by 5.
Trust me.